She's like, come on, Alexis. So I'm going to the car, like little me, like a little happy, like no joke, you guys. Like I was a little geeked, okay? Like, you're not invited. Hey beautiful, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, hi, my name is Alexis Jayda and welcome. Today's notification shout out goes to Sarah. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Te quiero mucho. Thank you so much. If you want to be part of the notification squad, all you have to do is just like the video, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below, and you can possibly be my next notification shout out. So I just want to read you guys Sarah's comment. It says, it's got to be hard living every detail in a journal and reading it over. I have so much trauma that happened throughout my life. I think my brain has purposely forgot it. I don't know if I really want to remember. It comes in glimpses, sometimes since I now live in my childhood hometown. You're very strong, Alexis. Don't let it pile on. Thank you so freaking much. I 100% understand what you're saying when you say you have forgot about it or you just don't want to relive it, you know, that kind of thing. Because there's a lot that I read where I'm like, holy I cannot believe that I forgot this. And it's not that we forgot, it's that our brain protects ourselves. And it's so crazy that the brain is like that, that it can do that. There is even sometimes where I'm talking with family and stuff and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot that happened. And it's just so crazy. And there's things that I remember that I don't even put in my journal because I was hoping that I would just never, ever have to think about it, read about it, dream about it ever again. And it's like embedded in my brain, and it's so freaking crazy. So when I read your comment, I'm so out of breath, you guys. I feel like I've been out of breath a lot lately. When I read your comment, I was like, yeah, I 100% know what you mean. It's freaking crazy. And it's just, it honestly just mind blows me what the brain can do, because I'm like, oh my God. And I really wish at times that we can pick and choose what we want to remember, you know? Like, yeah, have you guys watched that one show, Inside Out? And like, oh, this is a core memory. It's so crazy because like you see all those memories that she has and like what gets discarded, and it's just freaking crazy. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for you guys checking up on me and just letting me take some time, because it does take a toll on me mentally when I do relive a lot of these things. And the last story time, it just really hit me in my feels, because it's just, I feel like that now, even as an adult, where you feel like you're not invited, you're not cool enough. I've always been in that category of just, I didn't blend in here and I didn't blend in there and I didn't blend here. So I always was just like, myself, you know, and it just sucks. So I feel like it kind of just took a toll on me mentally. But I was chismeando with you guys on Instagram and Snapchat. I'm trying to get more active on Snapchat again, but I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, because you guys are awesome and you guys are just amazing. So I really do appreciate the ones who like were reaching out like, hey Lex, what's going on, babe? Let's talk about it. And it just really makes me so happy. So let's get into today's story time. It's going to be continuing on my last story time. I do have a playlist, and a FAMBAM recommended that I number them. So let me know if I should number them or if that kind of make it complicated. I don't know. I overthink, and you guys help me out a lot. And I want to say thank you guys so much for helping me with the titles as well. If you guys have any title recommendations, leave them down below. If I have this titled and you guys are like, this would be better, let's put it as this, I always go in and change it. I know some of you guys are like, I swear this was named this. Why is it this? It's because most likely FAMBAM was like, Jade, put this. And I'm like, gotcha. Because why? We're familia here, and we're like, you know, we share all the stuff. So let me know what you guys are doing. If you guys are watching with somebody, if you guys are cooking, if you guys are cleaning, if you guys are driving somewhere, I would love to know down below, because I'm a chismosa, so let you go know what you're doing. Let's get started. So the puta sucia left me. She went and she told Peaches a whole different story of like she didn't want to go, which was a lie. So if you've ever been put in a situation where you're like, what? And it just makes it seem like you weren't the liar. And of course they were going to believe her over me. Why? Because that is their family friend. Little entanglement they got going on, okay? And I'm just some little mocosa that they just think is just always just causing a mess and just wants to fight. I cannot open that for the life of me. And so I'm like, so I text Baltimore and I'm like, why did you say this? She's like, I didn't say that. She had done this quite frequently, where they would tell me to do something and she'd be like, no, I got it. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Come to find out, she didn't have it. she just wanted me to get yelled at, and it would work. So I text her, hey, this is what they said. Why are you saying this? I wanted to go. And so I make sure to text her, can you come back and get me then? Can you come back and get me then? And of course she's not going to respond. Of course she's not gonna be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go turn around right now and like hop in the car, come on, get in, bitch. No, of course she's gonna be pissed off and upset that I'm even telling her anything and what I'm texting her. So she just replies, stop texting me. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop. I've always told you guys, I did have a little like side to me where I would get mad. And I would get really mad. So I literally felt so annoyed. I still get like this sometimes. The feeling, of course, let me just rephrase that. The feeling. I deal with it different now, but I literally threw a little tantrum. I remember kicking, I remember screaming. I remember just feeling like, fuck, like why? Like, why was I surrounded with these shitty adults? Why? Tell me why. Tell me why I have to deal with this. Tell me why there are people like this. Tell me why I am not loved. Tell me why I am hated. Please tell me why they dislike me. Please change whatever is in me that they dislike. Please change me. Please make me however they want me to be. Please, please, please. And I'm just screaming and I'm kicking stuff. I'm grabbing the pillows. I'm throwing everything. I feel this emotion. I literally just feel so hot where anybody could just come in and just... and I wouldn't feel it. I am just screaming on the top of my lungs and I'm just like, fuck, to the point where, have you ever been mad at your hair and you just start go? So I'm just like pulling my hair because I'm just so frustrated where I'm just so, I'm over it. Now when I get like that, I'm just like, okay, mom needs to walk away. And I go for a drive. I take a hot shower, I take a bath. Me and my hubby have us time. Like, but there was no way to get out all of this when I was younger. So I just remember just kicking and screaming and crying and just talking to God and asking him, why? Like, why? If there is someone who is controlling my emotions, my feelings, and if I'm like pretty much like a Sims character, please help me out. Please help me out. Someone add more coins or whatever, because I don't even know how this Sims game is, but please, I do not want to feel this anymore. I was so over it. I literally was just like, how is this happening? How is this happening? How can I just stop this? How? And for a moment, I was just wanting to feel nothing because I was just, it was too much. And I know some are probably thinking like, Lex, because you didn't get to go. No, it was just felt like everything was just piled on top of me where I was just so, I was just over it. I don't want to do it anymore. I felt like I was constantly changing who I was to fit in with how these people were. I constantly felt like I was changing me so that they would like me, and they didn't even like that version. I feel like I was constantly trying to just like, okay, they don't like this, I don't like this, okay, act like this, talk like this, do your hair like this, it wasn't even me anymore, and they didn't even like that. And so it was just a constant, I was overwhelmed where I literally felt like I was just like screaming, and it was just too much for me. Like, I honestly just remember feeling so freaking exhausted because I was finally just like punching air, throwing the pillows, making a mess. I literally wanted to grab the plates and just start chucking them. And when you see people do stuff like that where they just destroy things, you're like, oh, they're really stupid. But I'm just, now I'm like, damn, what got them to that point where they just like want to get some sort of relief, you know what I mean? Or where people would pay money just to smash stuff, and you'd be like, that's pretty stupid. Is it? Or maybe it's just therapy for them. So literally throwing my fit, right? Just all of it. Just literally all of it. And my phone rings. I don't even look who's calling. I'm just, hello? And it's my ex. And he's like, why do you sound like that? Because of course I'm not like, hello? I'm like, hello? Like that, right? And he's like,
who are you with? Why are you breathing like that? Huh? Who's with you?
And I'm not even like thinking like, what are you like, what? I'm just like, Cause I don't even know why he's like popping off, but it's like, duh, like I'm like in his ear, right? And so he starts arguing with me and I'm like, oh no, like I was just cleaning up and I was just in a hurry.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because I don't know.
I don't know. So he's already gonna start. So we're on the phone and I'm like pretty much trying to convince him that I am not sleeping with anybody and that I was just cleaning up so I can just go and be with him. He is like not having it. He's like,
No, why do you sound like that?
I'm like, you really think I would pick up the phone mid just to talk to you?
He's like, yeah, why wouldn't you? Because if you didn't, it would seem suspicious.
So we're just talking and I'm trying to convince him and I'm like, okay, well, I didn't. And he's like, well, I don't believe you. Stay on the phone with me. And I'm like, okay. So he wanted me to stay on the phone, make sure that there was no one around. So I'm like, okay. So we stay on the phone for a good minute. I'm like literally calming down as we talk, going through the whole thing with him, calming down, and I'm picking up the pillow one by one and I'm just bawling, biting my lip so that he doesn't hear me and be like,
why are you crying? You're crying because I knew it. I know you're crying because you're doing something you're not supposed to.
So I am just, it's like those like silent tears. Have you ever had a silent tear? If you haven't, I'm very glad. But a silent tear is when you can just keep going through and your body is just, it's just, you're leaking. You're literally leaking. So he's like off the subject now. Now he's like convinced that, okay, she is just cleaning and it was just me overreacting. Did he ever apologize with things like that? No, never. No. Who is he? No. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I just have to like, let me just like finish up and like, you know, finish what I have to do. And then I'll see you shortly. He's like, okay, love you. And like being extra nice now because I think he could hear it in my tone. Because even though he was a piece of shit, he did have his moments of like being nice, very rare. And like, I was just like, oh my God, yes, he's being nice to me. So we hang up the phone. I make sure to text Baltimore again. Hey, I can get dropped off where you're at. Are you sure you don't need me to come? I don't want to get in trouble. So I'm just like over texting just so I feel like in a way that like my ass would be covered. I was just making sure to text her because like, I'm like, I don't want to get yelled at. I don't want to get in trouble. And I honestly felt like it didn't matter like what I did. It was always like, you're in the wrong. You're in the wrong. You're in the wrong. Even though it's like, okay, it's not what happened. It's not what went down. It didn't matter. But I always felt like I was always trying to like make sure that like all my stuff was in order, all my evidence was in order, just in case. Like I always felt like I was always proving myself because God forbid they like gave me the chance and like wanted to hear me out and I didn't have anything. So like I wanted to make sure like, okay, I messaged her this, I did this, just in case they let me talk, I could have it. And they'd be like, okay, so she did do this. So like, how come? Just in case. So I was making sure I was over-explaining, overdoing this, just in case. Again, she's not responding at all. I even messaged Sam and I'm like, hey, how's everything? This is what's going on. Giving her like an explanation of like, they think I didn't want to go, but I did want to go. And she's like, dude, it's fine. I'll make sure to tell them on my side. Don't even worry about it. It's so up what she did. I'm so sorry. That actually hurt my feelings. And making it about her, because she was like, if that was me, I would be so embarrassed right now. I'd want to kill myself. Like, are you okay? Because if it was me, I wouldn't even want to show my face anywhere. And I'm like, okay, good thing it wasn't you, Sam, because fuck. So I'm like, okay, well, yeah, well, I just want to make sure that you know, just in case, because I don't want to get yelled at. And she's like, no, you're good. She's like, are you gonna go run your errand? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go run my errand. So I literally clean up my mess, make sure everything's clean, because I don't want them to come back home and be like, what the fuck happened? Like, what happened, you know? So I clean up and then I head out. I meet up with the ex and he is in such a good mood and being so lovey-dovey with me, and it literally just like boosts my mood and I totally forget about everything that's going on. Don't even think about Tommy. I don't even think about like I need to check in with her. I need to at least give it an update. Don't even think about anything, you guys. When I was with him at times, when things were good, they were good. So that's why it was hard for my young self mind to not realize like, oh, this is love bombing. this is manipulation. It was really hard because when he would be this nice to me, I'd be like, he does love me. You see, like everyone has their days. Like he does love me. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. But young Lex doesn't know this. And so young Lex is just taking it in and I'm just in awe. We took pictures. It was like, I'm not thinking like, not pictures like professional, like we took selfies, okay? And that was huge because he never liked to take selfies because he felt to this, he felt to that. It was just like, why can't we just enjoy the moment? And in reality, it was because he didn't want me to post and freaking Sancha find out and be like, oh, you're entertaining her. So it was just such a fun day. And what would normally set him off didn't. He was just like, it's so hard to constantly feel like you're walking around eggshells and you're like, and they're just like, you're so funny. You're not thinking like red flag, red flag. Sometimes you are, but sometimes you're just like, oh my God, like he can be my forever. Like, you see, you just have to be patient. Like, it's so true. Guys are not like girls, so they're gonna not always want to be sweet. You know, they're just misunderstood. And, you know, so you're just thinking all these things in your head and you're thinking like, oh my God, he really does love you. But you know what? I took it because I was having such a crappy day that I was just happy that he was being so nice to me. I was happy that we had our little selfie and my face actually didn't look weird in it because I was so weird about my face. I was like, why is it like this? Why is it like that? Like, I was so insecure. So whenever a selfie did come out good, I was just like looking at it until I didn't like it. But that day, I was just so happy. We just spent the day together. We ate, again, took the selfies. We went to the park. It was just fun. Like, we didn't do a lot, but we did enough where like I was just like, felt like I was just gliding. Where I was just like so excited. Where I was just like, I honestly was already picturing in my head like this could be it. Like, everyone has their days and you kind of like mix things up. So when you grow up in an environment and you see that the women around you tolerate how men give them like the bare minimum, you kind of think like, okay, this is what's normal. And sometimes you either be like, I don't want that for my marriage. And then sometimes in the back of your head, you're like, well, maybe this is how men act. So I was constantly going through those emotions. And where I didn't have a lot of confidence, I really thought I deserved what I was getting because I didn't feel like I was a prize. You know what I mean? So it was really easy for him to play on that because I would overshare too much with him where he used it against me. And it sucks. It sucks a lot when you are so open with somebody and you share so much, every little detail, every little thought, every feeling, and they use it against you. It honestly just feels like betrayal. And you can't even tell them like, you're wrong. And they're gonna be like, am I? So you lied to me? And you're just like, fuck. Like, you're literally backed in a corner and you don't know how, what way, because they're just like, but you said. I literally have it by your throat. But you said, but you said, but you said. And you're just like, back to us having an amazing time. We had fun. I ate. We were just, it was fun. He wasn't even checking his phone. He would always check his phone or have it in the side of the pocket where like I couldn't reach for it or I couldn't feel it if it buzzed. So he was just chilling. It was just happy freaking vibes. And I was just not even wanting to question it or even ask him. But you know how hard I wanted to be like, why are you acting different? And so then I was just thinking like, who did he see? It was just constant mind games. I felt like where I was just like, damn, Lex, you can't even be happy. And I felt like if I would ask him like, hey, why are you acting like this? He'd be like, oh my God, this is why I can never be happy because you're always questioning me. So I was trying my hardest to enjoy the moment and at the same time not overthink because you know I was. So a few hours had passed. We had our fun and I knew I had to go back Now, he seemed like he wanted to start up when I told him like I had to go back, because he was like, why? Like, why? Like, why can't you just like have fun? We're having good time. Like, why? And then I think he read my face. Well, I'm hoping he just read my face and was like, okay, you know what? I don't want to put pressure on her. And he was like, just kidding. And so he dropped me off, and thankfully I got there before everyone else did, because I in the back of my head I was like, okay, gotta make sure that we don't get home too late, because if we get home late they're gonna be like, oh, so this is what we're paying you for, blah 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 blah, right? And I had a little bag of my leftover food that I had brought, and we had went to the store and I had got some candies for the little monkeys. We said our goodbyes, besitos besitos, and then I told him I would text him later that night, because he had wanted me to sneak out so that we could hang out. So I was like, yeah. I wanted to ride this wave as long as I could with him, because it was good. Even though it kind of was like rocky, how he was, you know, questioning me like, why are you sounding like that, this and that. I wanted like it to stay good because we weren't fighting. Say my goodbyes, and I make sure to get things going. I make sure to act like I wasn't gone long, even though I was. So getting some stuff for them to eat, because what if they come home hungry? What if they didn't eat like the food that was served there? And what if this? So you just never know. And I didn't want her to come home and be like, how come you didn't do this? How come you didn't do that? We were gone for this long. How come you didn't do this? How come you didn't do that? So when you are dealing with people like this, you got to make sure that they have no reason to give you any type of lip ni nada. Even if they do, you're like, it's weak, come on, you know what I'm saying? So I did their food. Now I'm doing laundry and I'm getting in the groove. I even get comfortable and put on some shorts because I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling like, okay, now this is love. So I get comfortable. I even get on the couch because I'm like, okay, everything's done, and I'm just waiting. I'm like, I shouldn't have came home so soon. I could have still been out with him. Me and him are texting, and I'm just giddy because we are in a good spot and we are actually getting along. And in the back of my mind, I remember thinking, is it because he probably thought someone was with me? So he got like celoso and was like, oh my God, maybe I should be nice to her. I don't know, you know, I don't know. So we're talking, and as we're talking, I'm like smiling huge, and they just come rushing through the door. Alexis! And so I'm like smiling, hugging them, like, oh, how was it? And they're like, it was so fun. And they look like they had fun. You know, they were telling me they got to do this, they got to do that. It sounded like a great time. Even Sam was like, it was pretty cool. Even though I had a great time with the ex, I still felt like I wish I could have gone, you know. I was honestly feeling like that because it did sound like it, like, you know, like it was fun. Baltimore walks in, and before I could even say anything to her, like, I don't think I was gonna even say anything to her. She's like, because she didn't want me to start. She didn't want to hear anything I had to say. And I feel like you probably got that when you were a child, you know, when you were trying to talk to your mom or your dad or something, or you're trying to explain something to grandma, whatever. Because they're just like, don't start. Like, I don't want to hear it. Don't start. And me and Sam make eye contact, and she's just like, I think the reason why Sam wasn't being so rah was because I think she low-key did remember her little ass whooping that she did get from Baltimore, because it felt like she was kind of just like holding back. She wasn't her normal, like, really loud. She was just like, you know, and I was really like, why isn't she? But that's probably what it was. It's because she didn't probably want to get, like, you know, hit again or anything like that. She didn't want to irritate her. I don't know. But I was just like, she puts the stuff that she was carrying on the table, and she tells me that, what's this? What's this? Why is there such a mess? And there wasn't, you guys. Like, it literally was like maybe like, I don't know, I want to say like maybe like a little container. It was just a bitch. And I'm not like, oh, because like it wasn't dirty. No, like I know what dirty is. I know when it's like, oh, I should have picked that up. It was literally nothing. It was like, if it was just like something small, okay? She's like, what's this? Why is it such a mess? Like, why is it so filthy? Being like overly dramatic. And this is something that the ex's mother would do, where like there'd literally be nothing for me to clean. Nothing. There would be no dirt on the floor, no dishes, nothing dirty, no laundry. But she would have something to bitch about and be like, you couldn't have done this, you couldn't have done that. I'm over there working hard, slaving at a job, blah, blah, blah. And you're just here watching TV. You could have done nothing. It literally was like I wasn't even living there. Like I wasn't even there. Like there's no mess. But they are just so upset and they just want to nitpick at you because they don't like you. So, who is it? I'll get my big baby now. They smell like makeup. Qué bonita. Ay, qué chula. So, Baltimore has some bags that she had brought in, and she tells me, put them away. As she's still yelling at me about like how you didn't do anything. You're just out in the street being a whore. And you have stuff to clean. This isn't what they're paying you for. And I kind of like mutter underneath my breath, like that's what they're paying me for. Not you, bitch. Not you. And she's like, ¿qué me dijiste? And I just tell her nothing. Even though I had a feeling like they wouldn't put their hands on me, you just never know what would tick someone off. And like, honestly, who gave a fuck about me? Who? Raise your hand. Let's see. Nadie. Where's your mom? She's not here. So what? She's just gonna come through the door and like save me if this puta sucia wants to put her hands on me? No. So even though I was mouthy at times, I made sure to tread very lightly because you never know. And I was always scared just because like how I have voiced my opinion before about people who have hurt me and nothing was done. I was always scared that like, okay, they probably wouldn't even believe me. I literally said that this man did this to me and nothing happened to him. So what's a punch to the face? Don't think like that, okay? I'm just expressing how little Lex was thinking. Of course, now I think differently, and it always matters. If you are being abused, if you are being neglected, anything, any type of form of abuse, please report it. And don't think how I thought. I'm just expressing how I felt at the moment. Ay, qué bonita, chula, baby. She's just chilling. I don't know why that voice comes out every time I talk to Luna. Every freaking time. So I just tell her nothing. And I get to putting the stuff away. And I see that there's like some good stuff in there. I'm like, ooh, we are gonna have some good snacks for later. And even though they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, like you can have this. I was like, I'm gonna get some off the kids because I want to be like, oh, can I have some from the kids, you know? So I think she could see that I was like, I f***ing the stuff, you know? And she's like, they're not for you. And I'm like, okay. I hate that people were like this with food. I hated that the ex's mom was like that with food, where I could never imagine being like that, especially to a child, where it's very sick because it's just disgusting. Like, never should you ever be like that with food. My kids will tell you that too. When they want to be, you know, little brats sometimes to each other, they always say, don't be like that with food. You know, mom doesn't like that. And I love hearing them repeat that because they know like it's not okay to be like that with food because it's just not. It's disgusting. So I just kind of just look at her and I'm like, okay. I can't get too mad because I'm like, okay, I got my own food for later. But fine, bitch. Fine. You can have it. So I'm just putting stuff away and I hear that she is on a call. And I can hear her saying like, yeah, the house was so dirty. She didn't do anything at all. And just kind of complaining. And I know it's about me. And I wanted to go over there so bad and be like, you're lying. But you can't. Like, you can, but it's just weird. Like, first of all, who's talking to you? And I'm on the phone, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just like letting her say what she was saying. And she's like, no, she didn't want to go. No, she didn't. I don't care. Of course they're going to say the same thing. No. Her saying that, I'm like, oh, okay, Sam probably was like, Lex did want to go. and her saying, they're both saying the same thing, was her saying like, they're liars. They're liars. So I'm just like listening, and she sees that I'm listening, and she just gives me the ugliest look ever. Ever. I always try and do this bitch's ugly looks because holy crap, they were ugly. They literally just made you feel stupid. Like, I always try to look at someone how she looked at me, because I'm like, what if that would, like, of course one person's being mean to me, right? But I can't. Like, she just had the devil's face. Like, she really was just evil. And so when I would always try to be mean to someone who was being mean back to me, I would always try to do her stupid face, but I couldn't. It was just like, you can't mimic that. You cannot mimic that type of sorcery. Anyways, so she's just complaining and complaining, and I know it's about me. She keeps saying that, pinche chamaca. Just like talking, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, just hang up so I can hurry and call her and tell her my side of the story, like, please. And I noticed like, oh, Sam really didn't like, you know, stick around and like talk to me or anything like that. So I finished up what I was doing in the kitchen, and I'm on my way to go see where Sam was, because I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even like really notice. Like, I know we're not cool skillet biscuit, but still, I'm like, she didn't even say hi to me. So I'm like, what the hell? So the kids are following me upstairs, and they're just like telling me more about like how it was so fun. And I'm like, oh, I'm so glad you had so much fun. Wish I was there. And I'm just like, you know, listening to them. I'm not being petty, and I'm not like rude or I'm trying to make them feel bad or anything like that. I'm not about that. So they're just continuing to tell me, and I get closer to the room, and Sam just says, don't come in here. And I'm like, oh, okay, are you changing or something? And she says, no, just don't come in here. I'm like, okay, I just wanted to talk to you. She's like, okay, and don't come in here. So I'm like, so weirdness just starts setting in, and I'm like, oh my god, what did I do? Did I cause something? Is she mad at me, or is she mad at her boyfriend? Like, did they tell her not to talk to me anymore? Did I come off weird? So I just started second guessing myself. So I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. So I tell the kids that I have to go to the restroom, and I go in the restroom, and I just start texting the ex, because I'm like, oh, I just feel so weird. Like, what the heck is going on? Why is she mad or what? So as I'm in the restroom, I get a text message from Sam, and she says, chill, I'm not mad at you or anything like that. I just want to be alone. So I'm like, oh yeah, like no biggie. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. She probably could hear like a little panic attack I was having, or I don't know, maybe the kids told her, you hurt her feelings. I'm not sure. But I really did feel stupid, because I was like, okay. Because I was already feeling how Baltimore was, so I was just feeling like extra weird, right? But I was just still trying to think about the amazing day that I had with the ex, and I was thinking how I was gonna get everyone like ready for bed so that I could like sneak out and like do me, you know? I'm gonna do me. I just continued to text him. I like honestly lose track of time a little bit, because I am just talking to him, and again, we're just like on really good terms, and I'm like, oh my god, like I don't know what happened or what. Dumb Lex was like, if he is cheating, I'm okay with it, because he's being nice to me. So whoever this girl is, hey girl, hey. But then I was like, no, like that's gross, that's disgusting. Like, why would you think that? So it was a constant mind battle. Like, I wish I could give you guys a glimpse of like how toxic my brain would think, but it'd be too much. I think you guys would get scared. You'd be like, I don't want to see that. Who wants to see that, Jade? I don't know, just thought you would. I finally come out of the restroom, flush the toilet, wash my hands, act like I was, you know, taking a big dump or something, right? Flip on the fan, and the kids are just waiting there. They want to spend some time with me, so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Let me tire them out so I can like escape when I need to. So I go, and we're watching some shows, playing some games, and just getting them tired out. I'm like kind of waiting for the peaches to call me and be like, hey, so what's going on? This is what we heard, this and that. And I was kind of just like waiting on it, but in a way like not fully, because I just didn't want to get bitched up. I was like, no, I don't want to. And it was kind of weird to call out a liar in the same house as you and they're not here. You know what I'm saying? So like, what if I'm like, yeah, she's a liar, and she's just downstairs and she's like, what'd you say? So it's just like really hard. Again, all these emotions. I wish I could explain them better of just how I felt trapped. I felt like I was damned if I did and I was damned if I didn't. So I'm just playing with them. They're getting a little bit tired. You can already see that they're kind of like winding down, and they had a long day. They had fun. They went to a party. So I get them ready in the bath, and Baltimore screams my name, like ugly, screams my name, Alexis, ugly, right? And so I'm like, I'm showering the kids, everything okay? She doesn't say anything. And so I scream for Sam. I'm like, Sam, can you tell her? I'm like, I'm showering the kids. Sam doesn't say anything. And I'm like, okay, great. So I hurry, get the kids out, dry them, do what I have to with them. And then I go downstairs. And I'm like, yes. And she goes, what were you doing? And I was like, showering the kids. And I made a face like, because she knew what I was doing. It was just, I felt like it was just a stupid question. I just feel like when people ask you stupid questions that they really know the answer to, I really can't stand. Like, why are you really asking me? Luna, mama, you're shaking everything. So I'm like, I was washing the kids. And she's like, don't talk to me like I'm a idiot. But of course in Spanish, nah, it sounds the same. So I was like, I'm not, like, I know you heard us and they splashing, and she knew, she fucking knew. So she is just annoyed. She's like, okay, we'll get to cleaning over there. And I'm like, okay. So I go and clean up the kitchen, and the whole time I'm thinking like, bitch, you're not even supposed to be here. Why are you here? Why are you here? So I get kind of ballsy. And I tell her as I'm cleaning, like, when are you going home? And she tells me not to worry about it. And I'm like, well, if you're just gonna be here, like, why am I even here? Like, I'll just leave then, so that you can watch the kids. And she's like, Alexisjayda, cállate, por favor. And I was like, but why? Like, if you're here, why do I have to be here? And we don't even get along. You don't like me. I don't like you. You don't like me? And I was like, no. And she was like, you don't like me? No. I felt like I was shitting bricks. And I think I was getting kind of like ballsy with her because I was getting too excited, where it was like, where me and him were getting along, I could be like, bye, deuces. I hated that I would think like that, but it was just like so many emotions. I hated how she talked to me. I hated how she was like always snapping her fingers at me, like, hurry up, get it done. Now, what did you say to me? Hurry up, clean, clean, clean. And it was just so much. Like, I had my meltdown earlier. I don't want to keep doing this. I'm not happy. Why are we both here? I don't like you. You don't like me. You're fake. You only talk to me out of convenience. What are you chewing on? So I'm telling her I don't like her, and she keeps just repeating it. You don't like me? You don't like me? And I'm like, no, I don't like you. I was really scared because I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So we're bickering so much that it grabs Sam's attention, and she comes down and she's like, what's going on? And Baltimore goes, she doesn't like me. Sam laughs really hard, like so hard, and she's like, okay, nobody does. And I think she felt like we were gaining up on her, and she kind of felt stupid. Like, you could just see it on her face. If the words could read stupid, it would pop up right on her forehead. Pendeja, estúpida, sucia, you know? But she kept saying like, what's so funny? Sam was like, nobody likes you. Nadie, like nobody. That's why you probably are having a kid, because that's the only one that's going to like you. And I was just like, damn, because it's funny. It's just too far. Is it though? I don't know. But I kind of felt bad. So I kind of laughed, and I was like, and she's like, oh, what's so funny, Alexis? And I was like, nada. And then she's like, okay, well, get to cleaning, snapping her fingers at me. So I'm like, okay. So sorry if you guys can hear Luna. She's like, sorry guys, she's trying to bite the gym equipment. So she snaps her fingers at me. I get to doing what I was going to do. Sam comes down. She's like, hey, sorry, I was just fighting with my boyfriend. And I'm like, boyfriend? She's like, yeah. And so we kind of talked a little bit, and she was like in a better mood. She gives me like a little pep talk of like, I shouldn't care what people think, especially stupid people. And so we're kind of like laughing, talking, and you can just tell it's like irking the crap out of Baltimore. You can just see her face, her nostrils are just flaring, and she's just annoyed that we are talking and getting along. So Baltimore asks Sam, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you here? As in, there's something that you have to do, like, go do something. And she's like, no, there's nothing for me to do. That it's my job. And I know she meant well, but at times I was just like, damn, Sam, you're so stupid and annoying. So she tells Sam to go clean the restroom since she has so much energy to go use that energy to clean out the restroom. And she's walking away and she's like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Goes upstairs and you can just hear that she closes her door to her room. Baltimore gets really annoyed and tells me, after you're done, Alexis, go and do that. I don't even argue with her because what am I gonna say? Like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm like, So I just finish up what I have to, go and check on the kids, and they are out. So I'm like, yeah, because I'm gonna be able to sneak out later. So I'm just waiting for her to pass out. You wanna just relax? So I'm finishing up and I am texting the ex and he's like, oh, I can't wait to see you. Being really nice, saying nice things. Can't wait to see you. So I'm like giddy, you know? I'm like, like really happy and texting him, cleaning, texting him, cleaning. Nobody's up. I don't have to tend to anybody. None of that. She is so annoyed with just me. So as I'm texting and putting my phone down, cleaning, putting my phone down, I go back to grab my phone and I notice it's not there no more. And I'm like, so I start looking around and I pass by her and like, I'm not even thinking like she grabbed it. There's like no way, like why would she grab it, you know? So I finally just ask her, I'm like, hey, did you see my phone? She's like, yeah, I have it right here. She's like, oh yeah, I have it right here. And puts it down and I'm like, okay. Give me it. And she's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, give me it. No. She had no right and no reason to take away my phone. She was just mad. Like, honestly, that's the only way she could probably like get at me was because she was mad. And so I tell her, I'm like, give me my phone. And I call her by her name, but I will name her Baltimore. Give me my phone, Baltimore. No. Go finish what you were doing. Hurry up. Orale. No, give me my phone. No, take it. I'm not gonna take it. Why? Because she has her panza and I know things can escalate. Like it just felt like she was just itching to beat my ass. Like it really felt like she wanted me to give her a reason and I was not gonna give her that reason because one, she's pregnant. Two, employers, Sancha. And I was like, no. Like she was baiting me. And I honestly felt like, again, I wanted to cry. Like when I read a lot of my entries and there are some things I don't share. I wanted to cry so much. I feel like I was holding on to a lot of my feelings and sometimes I would cry. And some of my journal entries, I would say I wanted to cry so bad, but I just couldn't. And I think that's why I'm such a crybaby now. Like I cry a lot, but I think it's because little Lex couldn't. So we're literally screaming. I feel like I've been fighting with her all day, it feels like. And she keeps telling me to take it. And I'm like, I'm not gonna take it. She's like, then shut up and go do what you have to do. And I'm like, I'm not gonna shut up. She's like, yes, shut up. I'm like, I'm not gonna shut up. So we are going back with you shut up. No, you shut up. And it sounds stupid. Like honestly, it sounds so stupid, especially when I like sit here and I talk to my brothers and I reminisce a lot about the past and we kind of like laugh about it because it's kind of like, it's kind of funny. Like you guys are literally like fighting about, oh my God, that's so stupid. Lex, like, right? It's so dumb. I wanted my phone. I wanted to cry. I wanted to just shake her and just scream, leave. Because honestly, like, why was she there? For what? Like, Sam's already back. You already did what you did, what you came to do. Leave me alone. I'm not doing anything to you. Like, you honestly are just mad that I'm smiling at my phone and you are watching me. It's by choice that you're watching me. No one's telling you. Keep an eye on her. Make sure she's doing the dishes right. There's no reason for it. There's no one I have to feed, clean, or anything at the moment. You are just trying to just be annoying. I kind of start to whine and I remember stomping my feet. Just give it to me. Why? What do you have in here? What do you have in here that you don't want me to see? Why? What do you have in here? And I'm like, nothing. It's just mine. Like, you have no right to take it. And she tells me that I'm in her house. I'm like, it's not your house. You're in my house. I'm like, it's not your house. So every time she kept saying it, I wasn't allowing her. I kept interrupting her and kept saying, it's not your house. It's not your house. Because technically it's not her house. She just wanted to be annoying. Honestly, that's all she wanted to be, was she wanted to be annoying. She wanted to be controlling. She wanted me to put her hands on her. And she had my phone. And as she had my phone was just like going off because it's getting closer to the time where it's like, okay, like this is the time we're gonna meet up, when are we gonna sneak out, this and that, right? So I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna be like, why are you ignoring me? We're gonna argue again. We are not gonna be on good terms again. And I'm like freaking out because I felt like, it feels very dramatic to even say, I feel like my world was ending. It feels extremely dramatic to say that, but when you're so young, things like this you feel like are the end of the world, and oh my God, like he's gonna think I abandoned him, even though like it's not that serious, it's not that deep. She could have just took the phone, okay, whatever. I could have just walked away and been like, okay, I'm not going anywhere tonight. But I felt like back then, little Lex was like, no, oh my God, if you don't hang out with him, he's gonna think you don't love him anymore and your world is going to end. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. Like you honestly feel like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, the world is gonna end. Like you honestly feel like the world's gonna end if you don't get your phone back. And I felt like that, and I felt like she had no right to take my phone. I wasn't one of their kids. She constantly let me know I wasn't family. So why are you taking my phone? I have no blood relation to this family whatsoever for her to discipline me. So I think it was kind of, in a way, freaking me out that she was taking my property, and it was like, okay, what are you gonna do? And even if I were to leave, go call the police, whatever, it was like, it felt like those options were impossible. They're not impossible, but at the time you feel so afraid. So for those who want to be really quick to judge and be like, I would never, I hope you never would, because it's very easy to judge. And trust me, there's times where even I judge and I'm like, oh, I couldn't be me, could it be me? And I quickly have to just bite my tongue because I never want to even be in that situation, because I probably wouldn't even react how I think I would. And it sucks because some of us have to learn that way, and it's so crazy when you are put in a situation like that, because 9 out of 10 you don't react how you think you would react. So let's just be mindful of that. I'm just fighting with her again, still asking her just to give it back to me, and she keeps telling me no, that she'll give it back to me when I finish. And I tell her, I'm like, okay, so like what else do I have to finish? And as she's telling me that, she's looking at my phone and she's trying to like get in, because she can see like it's like message. He wouldn't just message me once, she'd be like ding 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 to like know what was going on and making sure that like I wasn't like being trifling, right? So I ask her and she tells me like, you need to do this, go finish it, and then I'll give it to you. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I go and I'm finishing up this stupid little task, and now she's like hovering over me and she's like telling me, and this and that and this and that. And I'm just thinking in my head again, why are we here? What are you doing? Now she is crossing a line of trying to punk on me. And I'm like, okay, now she's getting too comfortable. So I think she could see my expressions of like annoyance, because I am like literally talking in my head and it is coming off in my expression. And I'm like, and she's like, do you have something to say? And I just look at her and I'm like, no. Okay, that's what I thought. Finish up, because if you don't finish up, then you're not getting this back. And walks away. And I'm like, oh, I wanted to scream so bad, because Sam had left. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I finish up, I put everything away. I don't leave no dish out, because you know, normally when you wash dishes, you leave them out and then you wait till they dry and then you put them away so you don't waste any napkins. But this time I was like, I don't go if I waste any napkins. Like, I'm gonna put everything away. So I don't leave any dish out. I don't leave anything. No crumbs on the floor, nothing on the table, nothing at all, because I'm like, she's holding me hostage because she knows I can't leave without my phone. Like, I'm honestly just like going through like all these scenarios. Like, I feel like I'm being held hostage because she won't let me leave. But she probably would have. She probably would have like, my bitch. But I feel like, no, she wouldn't. She would probably make me stay. So I'm like thinking of all these things. I go over and I'm like, I'm done. She's like, okay. And she's like, why do you have your hand out? And I'm like, my phone. She's like, I didn't say I was gonna give it back to you after you're done cleaning. What? She's like, yeah, I didn't say I was gonna give it back to you. I'm like, what? I didn't say I was gonna give it back to you. So I don't even let her finish. I'm like, okay. So I storm my little happy ass all the way upstairs and I knock on Sam's door like boom, 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 because I'm pissed. Baltimore screaming from downstairs, hey! And I'm like, I'm like just beating on her door. And I'm like, give me your freaking phone now. She's like, what happened? Oh, I got a phone right here. She's like, what happened? She's like, give me the phone. And I dial and I'm like, And Mr. Peach answers, hello? Like, you know, because it's Sam calling. So he's probably like, what happened? I'm like, hey, Baltimore took my phone. She's not giving it back. I want my phone. He's like, who is this? I'm like, Alexis, who else? I want my phone back. She took my phone. I'm not your guys' kid. I'm not part of the family. So I'm letting them know. And like, you guys are always telling me I'm not part of the family. I'm not this. Pretty much I'm worthless. Like, give me my phone back. So he's like, why did she take your phone? And I'm like, because I was cleaning and I was on my phone at the same time. Why were you on your phone? I'm like, it does not matter. He's like, yes, it does matter. I'm like, no, it doesn't. So I feel like how these people, it constantly felt like they were trying to make me feel like I was crazy. Like, oh yeah, she was taking she had no right to take my phone at all. It probably would have been different if I was like blood related. I was family, but I was not. I'm a total stranger. Why are you taking my shit? It was so weird. And I feel like he was trying to word things a certain way so that I could like agree with him, but I was not going to agree with him. And I was like, I want my phone now. He's like, well, just like wait till things calm down. No, I want my phone. He's like, I'm pretty sure she had a legit reason to take it. And I was like, no. He's like, Alexis, calm down. Take a deep breath. I was like, no, I want my phone. He was like, why do you need your phone so bad? You're at the house. Is this something you need? Do you need something? Like there's food. Like he was trying to everything in the book like, oh, you don't need your phone. And it was so weird because I'm like, I need my phone. Like give me my phone back. And so Sam is just like, you know, shaking her head like, yeah, why should you take your phone? So I see Sam, she's getting on her like her little shoes and she's like going downstairs and I can hear her tell someone like, why do you have her phone? Like, why are you so weird? So they start going at it and I'm on the phone. He's like, why are they arguing? I'm like, I want my phone. Like, can you call her and tell her I want my phone? And he's like, what do you have in your phone that you don't want her to see it? I'm like, what? It has nothing to do with that. And so I feel like I'm trying to justify and give them reason of like, give me back my phone. So we are like literally fighting and I'm like, I'm going to tell my mom that you guys took my phone. And he kind of like chuckles and he's like, what is she gonna do? Because duh, she's in jail. Like, what is she gonna do? And so I'm like I don't want to I don't want to tell them like, I'm gonna call the cops because I don't want to burn that bridge with them because it's her I have beef with, not the Peaches, even though they're people. It was her I was fighting with. I still wanted to work for them. Weird, I know. I don't know how to explain, and it sounds so weird when I say that like little Lex would do a lot of things where like grown Lex wouldn't. But we have to remember, I say we because I know there's some comments where like, bro, why did you do that? And me myself too, I scream at myself, but we have to remember this is a mentality of a child. You know, I didn't have all the like experience and thoughts that I do now where I'm like, okay, this is not okay. I would have walked out, called the cops and been like, she has my stuff, take me, put me in a shelter home or something like that. You know what I mean? But young Lex was just so scared of like, okay, if I call the cops, I'm burning that bridge. If I go to a shelter, what if this is worse? What if I never see my brothers again? What if I just stay in the system? Like, it's just never ending anxiety. And I had just like all these emotions. Like, I don't know how to describe it to you guys. I literally just felt like I was just like a ball of just like so many emotions where I just felt like I was going crazy half the time. So Sam is fighting. They're arguing. I'm still fighting with Mr. Peach, telling him like, please, I just want my phone. Because I don't want to say, I'll call Pope right now, bitch. So he's telling me, Alexis, calm down. I'll call her in a minute. This is something that's really not important. It's just a phone. Why do you even have a phone anyways? Like, how old are you? Like, what do you need a phone for? Again, it's none of your business. Like, it's none of your business. So I'm like, oh my God. So I just feel so frustrated and I'm like, I don't even want to hear him. I'm like, I can't hear you. And I just hang up because I don't want to just hang up and him be like, you hung up on me. I wanted to act like I was going through traffic all of a sudden and like, couldn't hear. Hang up, okay, bye. So I go downstairs and Sam's like, she won't give me the phone. Like, can I have my phone? Can I please have my phone? Like, I have both my hands out. And she's like, no, both of you, no. She's like, Sam, go give me your phone. And Sam's like, you're not getting my phone. So she tells Sam, like, I'm not gonna tell you again, go give me your phone. So she was just trying to be some chingona, like taking her phones away. And I'm like, no, like I need to call in with my guardian. And I was telling her like, you know, Tommy, I need to call in with my guardian and let her know how things are going. If I don't call her and she's gonna think something's wrong. She's like, you can call her, sit right here, you can call her and then give me back the phone. I'm like, no. And so she keeps telling me that like, yeah, you're not getting your phone, especially now. You called them and they're going through this right now. They don't need you calling them. There was no reason to call them. You're not getting your phone back. And I'm like, give me your phone. And so she has it in a way where like, I honestly felt like I just wanted to like, just poof and just like, just and get my phone back. But I kept thinking, and this is what I hate, is that I'm an overthinker. I kept thinking like, if I put my hands on her, God forbid something happens to that baby. If I put my hands on her, I'm finished. Put my hands on her, what she me up and I don't even know what goes on. And like they hurt me and kill me. All these emotions all at once. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make the call right here. And she's like, okay. And so she sits there and she's just like watching me. And like, I get so mad because I should have just like bolted. But I don't call Tommy. I call the ex. And I'm like, letting her ring. He's like, hello, hey, like how come you haven't been messaging me? And I'm like, yeah, so I got my phone taken away. So I'm not even letting him talk. I'm like, hey, I got my phone taken away and I just wanted you to know that I will try and message you later. Yeah, I got my phone taken away. And he's like, what? But you're not even making sense. Like, who took your phone? Like, what are you talking about? You sound stupid. So I'm pissed off because I'm like, damn, she just ruined the good night that we were gonna have. Like, she just ruined the night. And I'm like, yeah, so I'll talk to you later, but I'm okay. And I just hang up and I'm like literally just holding onto the phone like this. And she's like, give it back to me. And I'm like, no. She's like, give it back to me. So I'm like, don't give it back to her. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not giving you my phone back. She's like, give me the phone. And she's like pulling the phone. And I'm like, no. So I'm going to end it there, you guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for joining my story time and listening to me. I'm so sorry if this one kind of made you guys irritated. I'm very annoyed right now too because this wasn't the first time something was taken away from me. Okay, this wasn't the first time, and it's really hard to do these kind of stories because I just want to go back in time and be like, I wish I could change things. I really, really wish I could, but yeah, I don't know what to say. I kind of say it's like a learning lesson. A learning lesson from what? Never to have your phone out. Don't get too comfortable. It's like always the same thing I always tell myself, like, don't ever get too comfortable. Don't ever this and that. And it's so weird because she wasn't the only person to take my phone away. This is something like the ex even started doing, would take my phone, and it was so weird. Like, I don't know if it's because like I was just like constantly on my phone, if that's what they knew like to take away from me, but it wasn't the first time that like someone had taken my phone from me, and it was just so weird because I just never understood. Like I don't think I could ever try to not take someone's power, but I don't think I could be over somebody and be like, give me your phone. Like my kids are different, you know, when they act up like, hey, give me your phone. But I mean like another like person, like someone who's working for me or like I'm in a relationship with, I can never imagine me telling my husband, like, give me your phone right now. Give me your phone, you're not gonna be on your phone. Like I cannot imagine that. So like it kind of, it irks me. I'm irked. My mustache is sweating because I know you guys are gonna be like, Jade, what the f? I know, you guys, it irritates me so much when I think about all the stupid shit that like would happen and me having to explain it to my mom or like tell her at a later date. Like it was just so embarrassing even to me, and in a way it's just like I let her punk me, and it just like pisses me off because I think the reason why I allowed people to be so cruel was because I was so scared of like hurting them, and I didn't want to hurt the relationship. I don't know, it's so weird. I wish I had better words to explain everything I felt. Like it was so many emotions, and it like literally just like made me just want to like just gouge their eyes out. And then like, how are you gonna justify that? Like, and then someone's gonna be like, really, bitch, for a phone? For a phone? And you're like, yeah, for a phone. Like, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's story time. Please give me a big thumbs up. Thumbsing up my story times really, really do help me, and it helps push my videos out to you guys when I do go live and when I do post content. So I really do appreciate it when you guys give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. I love you guys so much with all my heart. All of it. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you guys in my next story time. Bye.